The opening feature race of the season begins at Monza.
Slow, now it spins. Jaden going for pole. Jaden takes it away. Al wins in Chicago. The long way around. Surely not around the outside. What a move. No, crosses the line to win once again and do the double in Brazil. Under braking round the outside. The record is about to be broken for the most wins in Formula 2. 8 victories is going to belong to Jaden, who crosses the line to win in Le Mans. Welcome to Formula 1 qualifying from the streets of Monte Carlo. It is time for action. One of the most important qualifying sessions of the season, with how hard it is to overtake around this amazing configuration of circuit. Everyone wants to take victory in Monaco. The Saturday is always important, and it's really important in real life, and the same can be said about this because of how hard to overtake it was in Formula 2. And reports say that it will be even harder in Formula 1. 3.3 kilometers, 2 miles. And it's a circuit where they push right to the limit. All the way from Sandoval down to the 19th corner, which is Anthony knows as well. And that ends the lap. We've got the softs, mediums and hards for the drivers to use. And they'll be on the softs, most likely for this qualifying session, unless someone attempts something else. Which it is Formula 1. Anything can happen. And we'll be seeing those Red Bull compound of tyres as we zoom in now and take a look and take you to live pictures around this circuit. We're a few minutes away from getting qualifying underway, and this is going to be exciting stuff then. And the music fading away, and the circuit is right now bright and colourful. And talking about colourful, we've got a colourful livery out there as well. We have got Logo, who's been given a special livery, which I'll talk more about of how we've got there with that specific car. So that's what's happened there. Now, we've got 30 minutes of qualifying that are coming up. It's our final qualification of the season, and this one should be exciting. Cannot wait for this one to get underway. In the commentary box, my name is Omi, delighted to be here and covering for Jaden, who is out go-karting for today. So I guess I get to have my final ever Formula 1 broadcast this week, as I of course say goodbye to Formula 2 tomorrow as well. So all of that going on as we're waiting to get this underway. You can see Pal wants to get on with it. 30 minutes of qualifying, which was already set, but I decided for some reason to ruin that. So we're about to get the green light at the end of the pit lane, and then cars attacking once more. And this is going to be exciting. We weren't able to broadcast your practice as Jaden decided to protect his voice. He's only covering the race this weekend, but he still decided that he wants to protect his voice rather than cover the practice earlier on. So this will be the first time that we get to see these F1 cars in action on screen. They have had practice, and they were definitely practicing quite a bit. I remember I joined last night as we were preparing for the F2 awards, and they were still out there practicing. Harrison, Bella and Logo are all doing that together. And this is now a long wait as we get ready to put the green light out there and get qualifying underway. And there we go. 30 minutes are on the board, and they will be ticking as Logo immediately gets past the McLaren. Now, McLaren has a special livery. Logo has a special livery. Still no sign of where Note is. So he is still nowhere to be seen after missing Formula 2 earlier, which definitely you should watch the first half of the race from that earlier on. But also, we also introduced the new intro. We also introduced a new intro, of course, for this, which Jaden has worked on. So that's an intro for Formula 1 and Formula 2. However, we haven't used it in Formula 2 this weekend because it doesn't really work. It doesn't work, unfortunately, sadly. So we haven't used it, as of course there's different music and it's made for specifically F1, even though F2 is the proper one. As there we go. So yeah, F2 is the proper one in terms of a full broadcast for this season, meaning that it doesn't really work with the F2 intro music when it gets played, and then also the story so far. And basically, lots of the clips for the intro are from F2 as well. So we would have the story so far played, and you'd already know what's happened. It's, oh, logo into the wall momentarily. And you can see Harrison there battling with it. So the chrome liveried McLaren this weekend. So Jaden's adjusted a few pieces of the car. It was a very ugly car earlier on. If you haven't joined us in Formula 2 yesterday, it was a very ugly car before this weekend, where it was pink and green and all sorts going on with that McLaren machine, which now comes over the line, and the drivers will begin a push lap then. So through Sandoval we go, and we're going to watch with Sir Harrison McLaren, the driver who is your champion of this season, as he looks to attack on. Let's see what the first sector time is looking like for him. Note who got a special livery for this weekend, of course, is, as I've already mentioned, not here. So the chance of seeing what we have in the thumbnail for this one is pretty low from him. Definitely possible for someone else, however. But navigating this hairpin is basically at high speed nearly impossible. I see Harrison going very slowly through that part of the lap, and that is a push lap, so they really have to be careful through that part of the lap. Now let's take a look at the sector time. So you've got Harrison with a 23.375. You've got Logo with a 26.609. You've got Powell with a 28.926, and a flip round. A flip round for Sir Harrison McLaren to bring out the yellow flags in the second sector. He'll continue on, but this is going to be a hard moment as Logo goes over the road, tries to avoid, and he will go over the Nouvelle chicane and continue the attack, continue the push. But still a lot of time for these drivers to find. Powell's able to, as Harrison's going to get out of the way, but Powell found himself on that lap. As let's quickly hear from Powell now.
Yeah, it was just a yellow flag. Can't do much there.
So yeah, absolutely, Powell couldn't do much there with the yellow flags that were being waved on that lap. Logo's decided to continue to push on. He went, well, Powell didn't properly go through the yellow flags. Logo did go through it, and on the board it was a 1 minute 35.535. He invalidated in the last sector. He had the fastest second sector. So Logo decided to continue to push on. So yeah, to be fair, I think Powell might have even been even if Powell continued, I think he may have even been okay, I think, if he continued, because it was pretty much clear when he got down to the Nouvelle chicane, about a few seconds before he got down there. But anyway, you've got 30 minutes, so he'll continue to push on, but Logo deciding not to back out of it. So we'll see what happens with that as well. You've got Sir Harrison McLaren, who is back down to the hairpin. We've been able to see him through the hairpin so far, and we'll watch it once again, trying not to go too wide, trying not to go too deep. And that is the case for them. So the only lap time we've got on the board is Harrison's, with of course that big moment that he had. Logo was able to set a 1 minute 35 with an invalidation, however. So he's pushing on this time, and he set a 25.3. So he's a few tenths quicker. He's a few tenths quicker than Powell through that first sector. Logo with the fastest second sector this time around. And we're watching the Alfa Romeo driver make his way through, push on. And can he push himself all the way up to the front of the field, as he hopes that this lap will take him there. Harrison's going quicker in the second sector. Here we go then, with Logo about to come over the line. We look to the timing board. We look to see whether he can go quicker provisionally. No, he invalidated that time around. Powell's also going through the second sector as of yet, and he is gone around 2 seconds, just under 2 seconds quicker through that middle part of the lap over Logo. Harrison, though, is the quickest one all throughout in the second and third sector. It's a 1 minute 22.970 for the field to beat on run 1, proper run 1. As the first ones had all sorts of mistakes, had all sorts of invalidations for the drivers to deal with. Powell up to second place, and it's a 1 minute 30.136. So that is way off Sir Harrison McLaren. So the lap time that Harrison managed. So Powell will look to continue to dial in and try get closer. But Harrison with a quick lap immediately. And here we go then. Let's see as we head down to the Mirabeau complex. No improvement so far on this lap. But this will be the interesting part of qualifying, where we continue to see constant improvements. And the qualifying is going to be very important. Qualifying is going to be important with how hard it is to overtake in the race. However, we do know that Powell is absolutely brilliant at race starts. Also, combining that with how Car 55 doesn't have the best race starts. It may be the fastest car overall, but it doesn't have the best race starts, car 55. So if we combine all of that, then Pal's going to have a huge chance to take the lead tomorrow and possibly even win the race if he's able to keep that. It's going to be a long distance, though. Jaden should hopefully be back with you for that one. So yes, this will be my final ever Formula 1 broadcast as well at the same time. So great to be able to enjoy that, as most of my PRL work anyway was in F1, as F2 did have a few seasons away. So saying goodbye to this championship at the same time. As out of the final corner, here we go with the unmissable McLaren livery this weekend. It's a 1 minute 26.562. So Pal gets himself closer. He gets himself closer. He's got Logo right there. Logo will continue on. Logo with a 1 minute 46.171 last time around, as he rotates the car through these corners now. Very, very tight to the wall. But around this circuit, you need to be tight to the wall. If you're not tight to the wall, then you're not really extracting the best. And oh! Big moment. Second sector. Round. Flipping again. Sir Harrison McLaren, car 55, is going to need to reverse. He's off the road now. He'll push on. That should be green in a few moments. And there we go. Green flags are back out. It shouldn't affect Pal, as it's clear now at the Nouvelle chicane. So that's where we're seeing Harrison flip constantly. So he can continue to push on. It was a 25.9 anyway for Pal, and I think he's just had the same moment. So controlling these F1 cars around this circuit definitely being quite the challenge for these drivers. And they've even mentioned that in F1, the overtaking will be harder than Formula 2. And in Formula 2, they struggle to get through. In F1, we've got bigger cars. You've got drivers that will definitely be hugging every bit off the road. Logo's improving in the middle part of the lap. Let's take a look at him as Harrison's coming to the pit lane to change tyres. Let's see what what Logo can do. Another unmissable car livery this weekend, as he comes over the line and he sets the 1 minute 41.278. So that's the time that he set on the board. Very close, very nearly into the wall for him, and I can definitely see that his foot is definitely scraping the tarmac quite a bit on the road, as his avatar is just that way. So that's definitely something that's happening. In Formula 2, we have had some issues with avatars and car combinations just not working. And mounting over and into the barrier, not being able to make this corner in the place where we lost the Formula 2 race earlier on. Bella's now joined as well this qualifying session, but yes, the place where Logo lost, right on the exit of the hairpin, the Formula 2 sprint race lead. And then after that, a big major mistake after, which cost him the chance to win earlier on. It would have been a tough ask anyway, though, to maintain the entire advantage that he had found himself having in that Formula 2 sprint. But everyone was just closing in. He was getting different competitors. Jaden definitely the quickest one of them all in terms of in that race. But he will definitely find himself trying his best tomorrow. I've not seen Prema push at all. I've not seen Logo, at least. I think Harrison's now on Jaden's side, I think, in terms of that. So I've not seen Prema push for any sort of penalty for Jaden if Logo, specifically Logo, as I think Harrison believes it's Logo's fault anyway. So most likely we're not going to see anything made of it, if even Harrison thinks that. But in case Logo still believes or has any form of evidence that can change that up, then there might be a grid penalty for tomorrow, but that doesn't seem likely at this stage. Okay, so Logo last time around improved the lap to 1 minute 30.569. We now join the British driver Pal as he makes his way through Portier at this stage. And he makes his way through Portier as he heads down to the Nouvelle chicane. So he's improving in the first sector. It's a 24.724 for him, as he'll get on the brakes in a few moments' time, hoping for the car not to flip. Seemed like that it was executed there. And he's got the quickest second sector. He's got the quickest second sector. So Pal pushing on at this stage. It's an improvement in the first, going quickly in the second as well. And if he can keep it through the Rascas, he will have an opportunity to try and get ahead of Sir Harrison McLaren. Out of Anthony Knows now. And he'll be putting his foot down, foot to the floor, all the way to the line. Chasing the fastest time of the session so far. Oh, he invalidated at the end. He invalidated, but it wasn't going to be quickest anyway. Sir Harrison McLaren has been hearing about that Pal is going quickly, so he is now setting the fastest second sector as he tries to take it further away with 19 minutes on the clock to go. Let's see whether he can do so. Up towards the line comes the McLaren liveried car. Here we go. Wait for it. No, didn't improve. It was a average first and third sector, meaning that even with the quickest second sector, it wasn't enough overall. But Pal will feel confident that he can get closer, and oh my word, big crash in the first sector. That is Harrison and Logo who have come together, and oh my word, Harrison's car's on top. Will need the red flag. This is going to be blocking the road. We'll need a red flag immediately. That is blocking the road. They're stuck. Harrison's car was on top of Logo's car. A big dramatic moment as Logo are slow and they're trying to reverse. Red flag immediately. We cannot have a car stranded on the road and blocking, as it looks like. Can they get out? They can indeed. So this will be a very quick red flag. Dramatic stuff there. Let's hear from Pal.
Fucking simply lovely. Yeah. Typical. Both times now the teammates calls a red flag this weekend in both F1 and F2. Simply lovely.
Absolutely. So that's definitely quite interesting, but my word, what on earth happened there? And that could be definitely something that's investigated by the stewards. But if you have a car round like that, now they've got out of each other, so they're not going to need any tow truck assistance, which is good, because if they did need tow truck assistance, they would also get a they would lose budget in the budget cap. And oh my word, Sir Harrison McLaren under red flag, high speed overtaking Logo. Right, scraping up against the wall, cutting the corner at the Nouvelle chicane as well. So that's that's Harrison trying to get back. But what on earth happened there? Now that is a big moment. Let's hear from Pal quickly again.
Yeah, why's the timer still going? Should be at 18 minutes, 18 seconds. That was the time minute red flagged.
So Pal just making sure that the timing is stopped. That will be reset in a few moments' time as everyone comes into the pit lane. Of course, it does stop during qualifying. The timing does stop during F1 and also F2 qualifyings as well, as I think Logo momentarily missed the pit lane, then had to reverse and go back into the pit lane. Okay, so that's quite interesting. Then Logo and Harrison come together on the circuit. I believe it was Logo who was going slowly, or something happened to Logo, and then Harrison came in behind and they both got stuck. And they were blocking the entire road. Kind of like Victor Martins in the F2 feature race, where about half of the road was blocked. Meaning that if Pal came, then he would have also got stuck. And there's also Bella also joined, so I don't know if she was on the circuit at all. So that also could have been another major risk. But yeah, quick red flag. 18 minutes will be set on the board. I'll actually let... so yeah, we'll put 18 minutes. Of course, it's 18 minutes on the board as well. So we'll let them now go back onto the circuit. I'll give them a few extra seconds, of course, as it wasn't completely just as... Oh, big moment as Logo goes backwards. So Logo reporting. Okay, so we'll get the green flag out there and we'll let them go. As I mentioned, I'll give them a few extra seconds before I put the timer on the board, so they get the extra time that they deserved. So, you know, I guess everyone will be complaining about the extra few seconds that they lost. There we go. So they did get the extra few seconds. Well, Logo reporting that Jaden has done something to my car. It's horrible. It's not even. It's hopping like a kangaroo. He explains. So that's what's happened with Logo as he now jumps in the proper Alfa Romeo car. Now, when Jaden tested the car, he reported that everything was okay, everything was normal, and it was fully right. So that will be quite something. But yes, we'll need to see about that. Let's hear from Pal.
Yeah, I don't know what Logo's complaining about. I saw it on the big screen on the radio. It's like everyone's car is just a kangaroo right now. Actually, I think mine's more a frog. Fucking ribbit, ribbit, ribbit.
Yeah, indeed. Now, so we'll need to see about that. It might just be Logo just thinking that it's only his car, because when Jaden tested it, it was all good, unless Jaden was lying. But to be fair, at the same time, Powell's just reported the same thing, and I mean, we've already seen Harrison flip 2 times as well, so I don't really think it's just him, but he's jumping in the other Alfa Romeo. Possibly, we'll try and prove a point and see whether it works for him. But that will be quite something, as here is then Sir Harrison McLaren. It got a little bit more interesting. The session got a bit more interesting during the period before the red flag. It got a little bit more interesting. We saw Powell setting faster sectors. We saw Harrison setting faster sectors. So I hope that resumes, and I hope that continues. The red flag kind of ruined that momentarily. But yes, here we go. To the braking zone once again of Mirabeau. We join Powell now. To the hairpin he'll go. And just navigating around this circuit. So much things around this place can just go wrong over a lap. So getting a full perfect lap is going to be hard. That is going to have to be yellow flags out late, as we were not watching Harrison at the time. But Harrison's gone round. It'll be back to green flags. But yeah, that is the unfortunate thing. If we're watching one driver, we were literally with Pal, so we had to react when Pal was going past, which isn't really helpful as well. Roblox technology not good enough to automatically put yellow flags out. If it did, it would probably put yellow flags out permanently for me just standing in the commentary box if we tried anything like that. So yes, unfortunately it does mean that sometimes yellow flags cannot always be out at the right moment. We've got 3 drivers. Usually sometimes we even have more if Note is here, and next season Jaden will also be returning back to Formula 1, and he'll also be taking the development side. So that will be quite something. Let's just hope that he doesn't, as I know a lot of people will be saying. Let's just hope that he doesn't rig anything in these settings and stuff, as he'll have access to all of those. As someone will need to do something for F1 next season, so you'll need to put the cars. But yeah. If there is anything being done, then drivers can just, of course, test each other's cars and make sure there isn't anything. And, well, to be fair, you can even make Jaden screen share. So, yeah, the drivers next season, if Jaden is editing anything, just get him to show you all the scripts as well through a screen share on Roblox Studio, as he now knows where to go to do all of that. That's Harrison slow. And what is going on there? What is going on there? As he continues on, I thought he was gonna pull off the road fully. Looking at sector times, so Pal improved his time last time around. We didn't notice that, but Pal improved his time last time around to a 1 minute 24 as well. So 1 minute 24.978, still behind Harrison. But had he not had the invalidation a few moments ago, he possibly could have put himself even further. But the thing is, we don't know whether he gained anything with the invalidation. So we'll need to see about that, and we'll need to see whether he can get himself closer and closer over the line. Yeah, another improvement for Pal. So it looks like he's coming alive now. Another improvement, this time to a 24.7. The lap time to beat is a 22.9. And that's by McLaren, who is P1 right now. So McLaren setting the pace, Pal in second, Logo in third. So let's see what Logo can do. So he's improving in the first and second sector, as he will come and make his way through. Put his foot down. No, he's going to lose some time in the third sector with that moment. Turned in a little bit too early. Foot to the floor, to the line. 13 minutes to go on the clock. It was a 1 minute 25.040 with that moment at the end. So he might still be a contender in this. So possibly it was something with his car. Fastest first sector for Sir Harrison McLaren. So McLaren right now has set a 23.351 in the first part of the lap. Pal is right now saying a 24.739. He's invalidated in the second sector, so that won't even be anything for him. Let's see. Let's hear now from Pal.
Yeah, well, Logo, first of all, why is he in a different car? Parc Ferme. Ever heard of that? As soon as you do your first run, that's it. So, well, yeah, I'd have that investigated personally.
So Pal reporting that I don't have any FIA control over F1, so that will be Jaden having to investigate that once the session's done. So I just get to sit here for this session. So yeah, we won't get any live stuff going on, even though I think it's quite obvious. There might be a few things I actually looked at throughout this session as well, but we make our way through and head down to the hairpin. As Harrison, 1 minute 22.625. So 1 minute 22.6. Logo finds himself with a 1 minute 27.432. So he is pushing on. So Logo continues to attack and push on around this circuit. So while it might be dealt Jin might have to deal with that later, but right now, Logo is just gonna push and hope that it's gonna be enough for maybe even a front row start, which would ruin the McLaren plan that they would have had of starting on the front row, and they will definitely, however, continue to push tomorrow, and I think they'll have a huge opportunity. We don't know what's going to happen with Logo for the Parc Ferme. A few PAL supporters also mentioning that Harrison was speeding under red flag, and it was captured on stream, and he also overtook Logo in the red flag as well. So all of that going on. Right, so it looks like it's all going to be investigated. Good luck, Jaden, after coming back from karting. Good luck with that. So even if it's Harrison Logo, if let's say in the scenario, now I haven't seen any of the clips or any footage myself, so I can't really comment, but let's say in the situation that Pal does not get a penalty for anything, and Logo and Harrison do, then possibly Pal might end up being on pole position, so that might be something. And yeah, Logo, I guess with the Parc Ferme rules, he may even need to start in the pit lane, if there is anything, if he is wanting to get the car changed. So it's gonna be a complicated night for Jaden to deal with once he gets back from karting, with under 10 minutes to go now on the clock as well. So all getting very, very interesting at the front of the field. Hopefully, let's see if Pal can find any form of improvement. That will be what he will be chasing. He'll be looking to try and end this session as close as possible to Cyrus and McLaren. He's right now in the pit lane, however, as he sits in and takes a look at everything that is going on. His teammate is right now on the track, and Harrison is making his way right now through. So he must have also just changed tyres. So he must have just changed tyres a few moments ago. So that's what I'm guessing he has done right at that moment. And there is going to be, all I'm going to say is this grid will be provisional. This grid will be provisional, as there will be lots of people trying to get each other penalties and all sorts going on. And here is Cyrus and McLaren. Who is he pulling off the road? He's stopping. So Harrison McLaren's going to stop to bring out the yellow flags in the second sector momentarily. We have seen cars end up going straight on there in the past. So I'm unsure what's going on, unless he's going to go further and get off the road completely. Going right to the edge. Yeah, so he's got himself into safety there. Okay, so perfect. Green flags can be shown on the circuit, as he'll just sit along with Pal. So Pal sitting, Harrison sitting out there. Logo also will just continue pushing on as he tries to get ahead of Pal. That will be his goal. Even if it's provisionally, he'll want to see what pace he can set. In case there is any penalty later on, he still would like to know what he's capable of this weekend. But we've got one car out there at the moment, and it is the Alfa Romeo, which had a special livery. Now, no more special livery on the car. But yes, there's going to be two things. There's going to be two things that can be said about it. Either Jaden has done something to Logo's car, if there is anything wrong with it. If either that has happened, or Jaden just completely lied during his car test that he did early on in the weekend, where he said it was all normal. Right, Harrison's back on the track, so we've got another competitor back out there as he continues and tries to push on even further with just over 7 minutes to go. So this is the crucial moment of this session where the drivers, if they have anything left, need to start putting in the laps. If they go to the end, now if they do go to the end of this session and they find themselves still feeling that they have more pace to unlock, the pressure is on. We are going to see mistakes. As I've mentioned already on this broadcast, around this track, nailing this circuit is quite difficult. There's so many things that can go wrong. Whether it's a invisible bump somewhere, whether it's the hairpin, whether it's the Raskas, whatever. Something can go wrong on the lap around here. Just one little thing, and that can cost you. So it can be quite a few minutes with a 1 minute 22 lap time. It can be quite a few minutes wasted if that is the case for the drivers, and also having to pit and change compounds of tires as well. So all of that goes on. Powell's still in the pit then as he just waits and sees whether Logo can beat his time, which I think he'll be pretty confident. He'll be pretty confident that Logo, if he even can, will get punished. You might even think that maybe Harrison can get punished if the red flag stuff is true and all of the reports. Of course, you're gonna into the wall, Logo, and that is out of the Anthony Knows corner, the final corner on the streets of Monaco. We'll be able to speak to our top three after this. We already know who's going to be on our top three. We just need to work out in which order, which it seems like we may already have an order set, but Logo that time around with a 1 minute 29.637. Harrison will just try go even quicker and set a time that when Jaden tomorrow or even later on today when he gets back tries to beat, cannot beat it. As yeah, that is something that Jaden tries to do. So I guess if there's anything else to encourage fast lap times right now, would be Jaden gets into random cars. So he would get into Harrison's car and be like, oh, let me try beat Harrison's lap time. Let me try do this. Let me try do that from earlier on. So he likes to do all of that stuff. So let's Harrison going quick as the wall in the first sector. And he will be hoping that, well, that isn't the case. And that Jaden isn't able to beat the time whenever he tries to do so, because he's set the fastest first sector. I think he's made his intentions pretty clear. Logo will just see this lap over the line. There may have been a mistake actually in this lap by the Alfa Romeo man, so I'm unsure whether there will be the improvement that he would have hoped for this time around. As he makes his way up towards the line now, we'll look to Harrison in a few moments' time. Yes, there was the improvement. 1 minute 25.613. Not an improvement in first, second, or third sector, but when you add it all up, it's a 1 minute 25.613. Brilliant stuff from Logo as he gets himself closer to Powell, still with possibly an investigation going on. Here is Sir Harrison McLaren. 4 minutes to go on the clock, looking to take him further away from the rest of the field as he comes across the line. Can Sir Harrison McLaren go faster? No. A 1 minute 24.469. And oh, big moment for Sir Harrison McLaren in the first sector. He's rolling down the hill now, and he'll continue on. He'll put his foot down and continue on as he changes his tyres as well at this moment. Green flag's back out now. That was a bit deep into Portier, I think, for Logo. It was deep into Portier for Logo, which means that you don't have the best exit speed when you go through this tunnel and into the Nouvelle chicane. Coming up in a few meters. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. There we go. Even a little touch with the wall for him there. Through to back. The swimming pool section now. And, oh, another moment into the wall for him this time around. And he's flipped. This will be the yellows back out in the third sector. A lot more runoff. Compared to real life at this part. But it's not runoff that... It's runoff that if you carry too much speed, you're still heading into the wall. is that type of one, because the wall is straight ahead, so you can run deep in, but then you have to quickly adjust the car, swing the steering wheel back in, and then try not to do a Charles Leclerc, or try do a note from the thumbnail. So that's the challenge these drivers have. Oh, that's deep once again for Logo. Here is Harrison McLaren. Let's see whether he can go even quicker. Powell's back out there on the circuit. Powell's back out there on the circuit. Oh, deep once again for Logo. So yes, that is going to be Powell, who now looks to push and maybe even try get an extraordinary final lap to beat Sir Harrison McLaren. Oh, at the moment though, yellow flags will be needed. Only momentarily, back to green now, as Powell momentarily came to a halt at the tight part of the circuit of the hairpin. The hairpin, which has been causing issues all weekend long for F1 and in Formula 2 as well. But tomorrow will be the final F1 race of the season. It'll be the final Formula 2 broadcast of the season as well. So all of those coming your way tomorrow. And I really look forward to, well, seeing the season come to a close and see the final races and the final chapters of the season, as there is still quite a lot that drivers will be fighting for. And it's been amazing to be a part of Formula 1 as well. So of course, as I step down permanently from everything in PRL, also do have to say Formula 1, that is Formula 2 is really the more emotional one, but at the same time Formula 1 is where I've spent more of my time commentating in PRL. That is for sure, as there's been of course more seasons and more of me doing stuff in Formula 1 being the main event. Sir Harrison McLaren with a 1 minute 21.333. Super stuff from him as he extends his advantage to the front. A new fastest lap, and it was the fastest third sector which got him there. Now final runs being committed, so Harrison will continue to push on. That was slightly deep though before he heads down to Mirabeau. Looking at the sector times, I'm not seeing anything impressive so far. I'm not seeing anything impressive. Logo right now this time around has set a first sector that is a 10th quicker than Powell in terms of the current laps they're on. So not the best laps they've managed, but the current laps they're on. Harrison's the only one in the 23s though. Second sector with a checkered flag out. It is Powell going quickly, and oh, that's going to end Logo's run, so that will be yellow flags. Now in the third part of the lap, that was Powell just going through as well, and he can still continue on as he'll make his way out of Anthony Nose and put his foot down, foot to the floor, up towards the line. Let's see whether he can improve his lap time. Yes, he can, a 1 minute 24.168. He'll improve his time, but unfortunately, it won't be able to beat Sir Harrison McLaren, and we already know there was a big moment for Logo. And Logo found himself in third position, still possibly investigations to go on by Jaden later on. Now let's hear from the driver who has qualified in second place provisionally.
Simply, alright. Well, thank you first of all to the commentator Omi for all his time in F1. It was quite nice to hear him today while in the pit lane. And, well, yeah, P2, average result. Means I got the big inside line into 1, which means easy overtake, and then I can defend. So, simply nice.
Well, Sir Harrison McLaren has got the final ever pole that doesn't award any points. As from next season, that is going to be the change that will be coming in Formula 1. I'm going to let Jaden talk you through more of that, as he should be prepared to talk you through all of that. Especially, I don't want to take all of the talking points, because it's a long F1 race tomorrow, and Jaden's going to have a lot to talk about. And there might be not a lot of action, so I'm going to leave more of the F1 stuff to him. But yes, in qualifying, this is the final one that will go unrewarded for him as well. So we'll let the top 3 make their way through, and we'll get to hear from them. We'll get to hear from Logo. We'll get to hear from Powell. We'll get to hear from Sir Harrison McLaren as they all make their way through. as we go to commentators cam, and that's the track map that Jaden has put in this weekend, along with some of his F1 notes as well, and a thank you Omi message that was installed in the commentary box earlier on. As we will take a look, and we'll wait for the final driver, Pal, to just make his way to the grid, and then we'll be able to conduct the interviews for our first, second, and third place, starting with third, of course, placed drivers, as we make our way to the swimming pool section. Final few moments of just seeing these drivers push on through the third sector. We go now, and it'll be Pal heading to the grid and heading to, well, be interviewed in a few moments time. You'll slow it up over the line, and you can see waiting here is Harrison and also Logo, who we'll be speaking to first. So hello Logo then, how was that qualifying for you?
Very, very difficult. Car was bouncing around every corner. I had to keep catching it. It's just really difficult.
Okay, so do you believe that Jaden has done something, or he didn't give good feedback or correct feedback on the test of the new car?
The car I've been given is horrible. It's not equal. So when I sit in it, my head's to the left. It bounces around. It's horrible. I just can't drive it.
So so I'm guessing then you would assume that Jaden didn't test it or has changed something in it.
Yeah, I think he has. I just, if it's able to put it back to normal. But yeah, it's a bit annoying.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely will be quite annoying for you. But yeah, he did give. He said the car was perfectly normal and everything was okay in it. So clearly he wasn't driving the same car as you. Now, then you did switch mid-session. So how was car 7?
No, I switched to 99. Well, I'm usually car 7.
Yeah, car 99.
It was better. It's still hopping around and stuff, still quite difficult, but it was a lot better.
Okay, then Pal reported, I don't know if you heard it, but Pal reported on the radio about you breaking park permit rules. So do you think you'll be in trouble with Jaden for that later on? So do you think you'll be getting any form of penalty or anything for that?
Probably. He's always against me, but I'll push past it, don't I? It's a whole race to do. Just focus on that.
So if there is any changes made, then it would of course be a pit lane start most likely. I'm guessing that's what the FIA would put in. So yeah, if it is going to be changed, I would assume that would be a pit lane start. So So I guess I'll put the question to you now. What do you think you'll be able to manage tomorrow from the pit lane?
Try my best. Try and get, obviously, depends if no race, and try and get a podium. That's the goal.
Okay, well, brilliant stuff, and best of luck tomorrow. Okay, now let's move it over right to the other side to the driver still in a Christmas suit. Let's now speak to Pal. So Pal, second place inside line, and you'll have a chance to do what you've done for a lot of the season and take the lead at turn 1.
Yep, and I thought I did it today there too, but on your screen and on Logo screen, he was ahead. So I mean, I can't really debate that.
Okay, well, in terms of everything on Logo in this session, so yeah, what's your opinions with all of that went on with him changing cars, and what you're expecting for Jaden to give him for tomorrow?
Okay. I'm not going to report it. There's no point. He's behind me. I thought if he overtook me, I thought I'd just report it so I can keep the P2, but because he's P3 and it's the Christmas spirit, we're going to keep him in P3. That's what I believe I should do.
Okay, brilliant stuff. Well, best of luck for the race coming up, and good luck with that. Now we're going to be going to speak to Sir Harrison McLaren as we move the camera a little bit more forward. So, Harrison, well, another pole position. How does it feel to be on pole once more, this time for the final race of the year?
Yeah, this one feels a bit better than the rest of them because obviously going into this race, I didn't think my car would be competitive, just purely because it doesn't have as much downforce as everyone else's. But yeah, quite easy.
So, talking about lap 1 tomorrow, do you think you'll be able to hold off Powell?
Well, I mean, before holding off, we need to check with the FIA because that should be a good penalty for me because it was me speeding and then overtaking. So, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, exactly as reported earlier on that. So, well, if you do get the grid pen, then what do you assume you'll be able to do in the race?
I think I'll be able to win. Just make it a bit more difficult. Obviously, I'll have to get past everyone else, but there's nothing stopping me to ever make pit stops because of my pace advantage.
Okay, well, best of luck tomorrow, and we will hope to see you fighting your way back, of course, if it is grid 10. Well, that is it from Formula 1 qualifying. I'd like to say thank you for all of these years, and I'll be back tomorrow if you want to listen to me for the final time. Tomorrow in the F2 feature race, Jin will be back, talking you through the Formula 1 as well as that comes to a close. Join us to see who's going to win the final race of the year when Formula 1 returns.